Well, it is Wednesday, weirdos. Yeah, the Cold Steel Engage. I always think when I think that, all I think is Captain Picard. We're gonna take a look at this knife, but not yet.
Okay, well, since we don't have chairs of equal height, this is what you're getting. I don't have two chairs, but we wanted to say thank you to everyone that was wishing her well while she was in the hospital. So look at the green light. It's going to make it look like you're looking at them. So you want to say thanks to everybody?
Thank you.
So if you guys, all the well wishes and any of you that donated to the GoFundMe my friend Dave set up, we really appreciate it. So you still have a lot of stuff that you have to go through and some more testing and some other stuff that's going on, but you're at least able to keep enough down that you can be home. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know.
So like I said, guys, we're looking at the Cold Steel Engage. This thing has a lot going for it. Before we go too far, let's start and get some size comparisons out of the way so you just have an overall view, because I do have to say the size of my hands can be deceptive because I have really big hands. So let's go ahead and pull up our first knife, which is going to be the Miguron Valona, which is 9 inches overall. So you could see it's not a small knife. It's probably about 8 inches. I haven't looked up specs yet because this is just first day in pockets, first impressions. Your next knife's going to be the Benchmade 940, which is not a small knife. It's a pretty good sized EDC folder. So you can see it's a little bit bigger than the Benchmade 940. But it's really comfortable because it's got these big broad handles. So, and your last comparison is going to be the Chris Reeves Sebenza. So you can see Sebenza, as far as length, it's just about spot on. So in size comparison, you can see it's about the same length as the Chris Reeves Sebenza. However, it is a bigger knife overall, not necessarily length, but just in breadth and everything like that. So let's get this out of the way and start talking about the knife. Okay, so it is just about 10 o'clock in the morning on this Wednesday. The kid came home from the hospital last night, and I decided, why not get up this morning and film? I knew I wanted to do this, so I put this in my pocket at about 6 o'clock this morning. So this is the Cold Steel Engage in S35VN, made in Taiwan, G10 handles, deep carry pocket clip, and the Atlas lock. So we're going to look at the things I do like about this knife, and then we'll talk about some of the things that I'm not a big fan of. In-hand comfort, for the most part, is really good. So you have big, broad G10 handles on steel liners, comfortable handles, nice and broad. You've got this big finger guard here with a forward finger choil that comes up nice. You can get really, really good purchase on it. The blade shape on this thing is awesome. I love this blade shape. I love this big area here. When you get up on it in that forward finger choil, you can get your thumb in there. Nice flat area here. S35VN blade. This is a big, big chunk of S35VN ground into a clip point blade with some really, really amazing thumb studs on it. The edge on this, as I would expect with any cold steel, is insane sharp. You've got a nice spot here. There's a spot here where if you happen to be somebody that likes this is kind of softened and rounded, but you've got a couple spots here if you like something that you want to strike a ferro rod with, or if you're using this to feather stick and then you want to get some like dust, like scrape some material up for kindling, you've got that. The thumb studs on this are great. I mentioned this in the Demco 80-20.5 video I just did. I love these big volcano thumb studs. I'm a big fan of them. You can really get some good purchase on them. For as big as they are, they're not intrusive. They don't get in the way. They're not really all that sharp as you would think. They're nice and textured, so no matter where you put your finger on it, it is really good. Action on this is nice and smooth and secure. You do have your thumb stud actuator only, but a lot of these other back locks like this, like Shark Lock, Axis Lock, that Snex Lock that I'm not a fan of, but a lot of these back locks like this that are the sliders, you can use that as a secondary deployment method. You do have a big lanyard hole if you're a fan of lanyard holes, and they did a good job making sure that you don't cut your lanyard by putting it inside the back spacer. You've got this heel area here that you've got a really good grip on, so you can really hold onto it nice and tight. And you can deploy this, you can disengage this lock multiple ways, index finger, thumb. I prefer thumb and two-handing. And then, like I said, just an overall really attractive package. Cold Steel is famous for these big, bulky knives, but then doing them in a fashion where they're still functional and usable. This is a tank of a knife. You're going to have a hard time damaging this. Lockup on this, rock solid on this. I haven't really looked at the Atlas lock too hard to see how it's done and all the features of it, but it is really a solid lockup on this. And unlike the Shark lock, when I am up on it like this and I'm doing heavy work, as much as I like the Shark lock for its fidgety factors, there's no little spine sticking up where you can actually kind of accidentally disengage slightly. Let me grab that knife and show you what I'm talking about. So for those of you who didn't see that video, you should probably go watch it. But when you get way up on the Shark lock and you push down a little bit, you can actually disengage and you get a little bit of blade play. Now, I have never completely disengaged the lock on this, but you don't have that issue with this lock and you get some of the same features. So hang on just a second. We're gonna now talk about some of the things I don't like about this knife. All right, let's talk about a couple bad things. There's really not a lot on this knife. Like I said, really comfortable. The lock is functional. I don't like how far I have to come back to disengage the lock in this position. So the lock for me is one, like, I don't have a problem using my thumb. So there is a mitigation to that. So this is kind of a negative, but not really. Using my index finger, I find is a little bit, I'm further back. So I just feel a little bit too far back, but I do have really large hands. That would be one. But like I said, that's mitigated by the fact I just simply grab a hold of it and I two-hand close it like it is a regular lock back, like I would if I was carrying my Spyderco Police, which I don't have it right now, which is same thing. I would open or I would close it that way. Next thing that I'm not a big fan of, I am not a real big fan of this sticking out. It does catch on things. Trying to get in your pocket, I've caught it a couple times. It doesn't have anything to do with the function of the knife. It's not like it prevents the knife from deploying or anything like that. It just kind of catches when it goes in my pocket. Just a little bit. I've missed and caught that and then pulled on my pants a little bit tight. So not a huge issue. This one's a little bit more of an issue for me, but it's not horrible. This blade is really thick. And like I said, Cold Steel is famous for making tanks of knives. Their knives are tanks. It's really hard to destroy a Cold Steel. I mean, have I done it? Yes. But did it take a lot? Yes. I was definitely mistreating that knife. But you have a really thick blade stock that comes down and it's ground, and it's a little bit thick. But there is a mitigation here. They've done a really good edge where they've transitioned down to a really fine edge. So, and I didn't mention this, sorry, I forgot. This is probably one of the best ground edges on a Cold Steel I've ever had come in. Typically, I have some issue with Cold Steel knives with their grinds. Another issue that's not so much of an issue, I wish that there was a little bit less. Like, I wish they had rounded this ever so slightly instead of just grinding out. Like, maybe kiss this on a Scotch-Brite wheel, knock that corner off. It's not horrible, but it is, if you have gentle, softer hands than me, I could see that being a little bit of a hot spot if you're up in that finger choil using it for hard use. Not horrible. And then next thing, I'm not such a big fan of this big finger guard. It is functional, but the problem I have with it is it takes up so much space that a lot like some of the other knives. Not as bad as a couple of the other knives we've seen recently. EMP Nimble, which is a great knife. I just wish it didn't have that big broad space. It feels a little bit far apart on this, but the nice thing is in this grip back here, it's still really, really good. And then the final thing, I don't like the pocket clip. This pocket clip is kind of short and abrupt. I'm a fan of some of their other deeper carry pocket clips. It did not need to be this tall. There's a lot of space in there. They could have shortened this and lengthened it just a little bit, and I think it would have been less. Now, is it a real bad hotspot? No, it's not, but you definitely feel that it's there. And like I said, I'm not a fan of the way it feels in my hand, but it's also not horrible. If this was just a little bit less tall, like a little bit shallower here, you didn't need all that space, and then maybe stretched it even a quarter of an inch, maybe half an inch, to make it a little bit longer throw on that pocket clip. I don't think it would feel it doesn't feel hot. It just feels unusual. It just doesn't feel like it belongs there. So the nice thing about the pocket clip though is it's reversible because ambidextrous carry, I meant to mention this earlier, this is actually a truly ambidextrous knife because of this locking system. So you can flip your pocket clip, and the nice thing about this pocket clip is different than a lot of the other cold steel pocket clips that they've had in the past where you have two different pocket clips and you have to keep a separate pocket clip because it's not the same angle, like it curves, and then you can't just flip it. This is something you just take the screws out and flip it. So all in all, I'm kind of digging this knife. We'll see. It may get better over time. I may flip that to a left-hand pocket clip and see how I like that. I do have a pocket slip that this will fit. I might take the pocket clip all the way off to give it a chance. But I do have to say, I do like most of the things about this. I was on the fence when it first came. I've talked about it a couple times, like I'm not sure, this and that. Even with this being like I'm all the way up in here, it's not bad. It's really not bad on grip, and it does feel very secure in hand. So there you go. Cold steel Engage, first impressions. It's meh. It's okay. I mean, I definitely would take an 80-20 over this, even though I have some minor issues with the shark lock. So there you go, guys. Let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, send you out about your day.
So there you go, guys. Cold steel Engage. So far, first day in pockets. I'm kind of taken aback because I didn't think I was going to like it. But it is a lot of fun, and it's a good knife. I have not done much cutting with it today. I just only some little stuff here around the house, cutting down some cardboard to get it in a recycling bin, things like that. It is a little heavy. I did not mention that. It is a little heavy if you're wearing something like shorts or track pants or something like that. But other than that, it seems to be a pretty good, all right knife. So guys, that's it on this one. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But please try to tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you're one of the people that gave me some well wishes for my daughter when she was in the hospital for the last 5.5, almost 6 days, I really appreciate it. There's still a lot of things that we have to do. There's a lot of testing and a lot of things that we have to do to figure out exactly what's going on. But she's well enough she can come home and things like that. So I really, really appreciate it. And for those of you that donated to a GoFundMe that my friend started, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Guys, if you want to support the channel, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon if you're doing it financially. Affiliate links the best way down below. I'm not going to get into that too much. You guys know how to shop with affiliate links. Just use them. Membership is also available, multiple tiers. Premium baseline get free giveaways that I do off of YouTube, and then premium tier guys get access to a sharpening tutorial series here. And I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. with coupon code CrazySharp, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp, all one word. CrazySharp saves you 10% at checkout. Guys, that's it. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you in the next video.